All right, good morning traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar here. We're going to go through the live order flow analysis, forward-looking Bookmap, and not hindsight, so that we can read the order flow. What is the order flow and the behavior of the traders in the auction? What are they telling us, and where do we think the market might be going? We're going to go through this on smaller and higher time frames, but mostly smaller time frames, so we can get many instances of this under our belt so we can become better traders. All right, let's go through the disclosures and we'll jump right into the market in just a second. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look at these markets here. Some interesting order flow right off the bat here. We also have bigger picture to take a look at since it's Monday and see what's going on and what are our expectations. I think we had a great week last week from the very beginning on through. And our expectations in higher time frame order flow. Now, here's the dilemma that we're facing today. Here's 8:30. We can see the sellers coming in, dominating the pre-market, and then here's our 9:30 cash open. We see buyers come in immediately, but then we sell off. Now look at the selling in here. Look at the volume dots in here. Okay, compare it to all of this over here. There's a lot more selling here. There's not a lot of selling in here. Look at the bars as well. Okay, these are delta bars. So we're looking at volume delta. Much like your footprint chart, you're looking at delta, buy minus sell, and understanding sellers are dominating. Now, if you want that insight, you can click on the volume bar, right click on it and go to volume bar setting here, and you can look at volume delta here, buy minus sell. You can look at total volume if you like as well, and you can see a big difference here, right? Selling is always on the bottom and buying is always on the top, so it's the combination here of the two. But looking at the delta, we have a very different understanding. Lots of selling over here, relative volume compared to over in these areas here. This is how delta can help you as well. So we know that there's not a whole lot of selling in here. We know there's a lot of buying in here. We know that there's also buying, not just aggressor volume, market buy orders. We also know that there is a lot of limit orders in here, and they're getting filled. Okay, so right in this area here, and then especially in here, okay, we have a nice little stop run into high liquidity. Beautiful stuff to see here. So that kind of like makes things a little bit more challenging to read here because I'm going to jump to the bigger picture, but I was looking in here due to all this buying for this move here, right? Just here at the open. Maybe not only back up to kind of here, would it almost made it back up to the bottom of this range here. I was thinking more, back into the range up here. Okay, we just had that move not too long ago up to the this kind of 44.15 level, and now we're starting to sell off a bit. All right, so why the confusion here is like, well, there's a lot of buying in here. But the bigger picture, though, if we look at the daily, the hourly, and then the 15-minute chart here, especially the 15-minute chart, there's a gap down. Okay, this is from mostly that 8:30 move back down, and East Coast time. And then we're looking for the sellers to come in, and I'm looking for them to test the swings down here because there's a lot of selling momentum here. Yet we're running into buyers down here. Now it makes sense that we're running into some down here because we know this in the order flow. This is where the buyers came in on Friday and moved this market higher. Okay, we see this whole move up in here. Strong momentum behind it, pullback, and then strong move and continuation here. So what we're getting is, either some profit taking down here, as well as maybe some buyers buying down in here, okay, which we know are also like, there's buyers in here, right? So it kind of convolutes what we're looking at in here. We should get that continuation move to the downside, but I'm not seeing it in the volume, okay, nor in the order flow. In fact, I'm seeing more buyers, okay? So I'm looking, I'm waiting, I'm watching for this order flow to either shift to the buy side, or we just might get a massive amount of sellers, and then we might, or a lack of buying up in some of these areas, and then the sellers come in and move us back down lower. Okay, so we're looking for that insight right now. What are some of the takeaways that we can see right now? Well, here's a big seller right in here, right? And we also see it's a bit of a stop run too. But we've seen this move so many times. Now, where are they selling? Right in here. Okay, and we're just coming back up to retest it now. Okay, well, it's a zone, maybe up in like this kind of 12 to 13.5 level. Okay, so now we're going to assume that this guy is still in here selling, moving this market lower. Okay, we're going to look for that behavior. Now that's just one scenario though. Okay, we might get buyers back up above it as well, up in here, big green dots that are able to lift the market higher. Okay, so we're looking for these different scenarios in here and what starts to play out. Okay, I don't see that seller come in yet, but let's see, we got a skew in the order book right here at 13 right now. Let's see it then, sellers. Let's see if that seller is going to hit the bid hard right down into about 10. Nope, not seeing that scenario. Are we getting our big buyers up in here? Yeah, starting to. We see the order book also supporting us. So, all right, buyers, let's see then you lift it back up to the swings up into here, up to 15. Okay, 14.5, 15. Okay, it was based off of right in here, this order flow right here, this 13 level and this high liquidity in here, that gave us some insight. Okay, so buyers still lifting. There we go. Still lifting. Still looking for these buyers. That's going to be a bit of a stop run. And let's see if we can get the buyers to continue here now. All right, so we've just come up to here. Now we're looking for follow through now. Okay, we're at the top of this range, but I'm looking for these buyers to try to lift it away from all of this transactions in this area here. Okay, and can they? Well, nope, clearly no. Look at our retest back up here. No buying up here. Okay, so we're back in the middle of the range and looking for it to come right back down, maybe back down to the bottom of the range in here at 11. Okay, so this is a kind of a move back up to the high and then a false breakout. Here's our retest here, and we can't get those buyers back in. Right, so we're getting our answer. Okay, we're already back down to 10. Okay, and now we're starting to see a bit of a pickup in here as well. In these transactions here, similar to this over here. All right, well, anyway, let me take a step back as well. We've got to look at the bigger picture in the week here. But I also want to point to some of the webinars we had last week about momentum, because we went through it in detail on momentum trades, understanding the strong move, and leaning on that as a controller of the market. Okay, now what do we have in here for a strong move? We don't. Okay, we have this one over here that still holds because it's just being tested as you can see, we just tested it up here and we couldn't get back up above it. All right, so but what about in here? Do we see any strong moves? Yeah, here's a strong move, right? Strong volume, but absorbed down here, and then we see some pretty strong buying coming right back in. Okay, again, strong selling coming right back in. So we're not seeing someone in control here of the market. There's buyers and sellers in here moving this back and forth. All right, so this rejected up here. We did not get the buyers we're looking for to take this higher. So sellers have come back in, traded it back down to the mean. Not only the mean, but looking for the move to the other side of the range here. So we came back down to 10. Let's see if they can take it a bit further here, back down to about 9. Okay, this swing down here. All right, so very choppy at the moment. All right, let's go back and take a look at our bigger picture here. Since it's Monday, we want this bigger picture approach. And we'll start with the daily over here. Let's see. All right, everything okay over in Discord? Hold on a minute, guys. Yeah, okay. Good. All right. Okay, so what do we have here? Now, this was just some beautiful stuff, I feel, that we had both FOMC and non-farm in the same week, not last week, but the week before that. And look at this continuation move here. Beautiful stuff. We were looking for a move back up to here, and then we'd see if we continue or not. Well, we got an answer very clearly on that on the daily. And then end of the week, we're looking for a move back up into here. We're looking at ATR or ADR for your average daily move in here. And the webinar was kind of we're somewhere around in here, so we're looking for maybe a bit higher move, but we already noted that we've already moved a lot, so we're not necessarily looking for a continuation move that day. Then it was rather choppy all week, and then we saw this beautiful continuation move on Friday, right? And we were looking for it to go higher and test some of these areas up in here, and we did. Okay, now the question is this going to be still a continuation move on the daily chart? Okay, because you can look at it here and you can see a flag pattern in it already. Okay, really strong move. It accepted higher all week long, and it ended the week with a strong move to the upside. So now we're looking for more buyers to try to take this higher back up into maybe this area here. Let me add a few more bars in here. All right. So we're looking for maybe a move back up into, like, 44.60 or even higher, 4,500 basically, somewhere up in here. All right, where it dropped from, these wicks up in here. All right, so we get our strong move, our consolidation and pullback, and then another strong move on up. That's what we're looking for on this daily chart. And on the hourly, same idea in here. You can see all that back and forth here, this beautiful island gap and continuation here. And then today's just been basically a shallow pullback already on the hourly, just to top of the range here, around this 44, kind of where we are right now at 0.09 or so, at 10. And then on the 15-minute chart, well, we have our gap down. So now we're going to look for, see if we can see already a few wicks in here. We really want to see buyers up here around this 15 level on this 15-minute chart. Okay, so here we go. We're going to look for them up in this area here and see if we can get the continuation, not only to the high swing here for the cash session at 19, but continuation. Right, so and we've got plenty of room here. Our ATR here is there's plenty of room in the candle, right? If as long as we can get those buyers in here. Now the funny thing is like we're trying to read it in here, the sell-off, and then reading and understanding the order flow getting filled in here on the bid, and then trying to read who's in control of this market here. And we're not really seeing that, as we mentioned. There's buyers and sellers just back and forth. And okay, so we're not there yet. We don't have insight yet to the move. Okay, now we can zoom in and look at smaller time frame stuff, but that's the bigger picture of what we see so far. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on that. No, we're good. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's take a look here, and we'll just look at some of the smaller chop in here, and then try to understand the order flow and transactions. Well, we've got it right here in front of us. Here's a consolidation period here. Here's a strong move away from it. Okay, and here's our back and forth. Okay, so now we're looking at a different scenario in here based off of the flag pattern that we're looking at. Okay, so a few things. First off, well, it's already kind of breaking it here. We might get a bounce off of this top of this little range in here and get some buyers to come right back up to 13.5. But it's our flag pattern's just been broken basically. This is just too far of a pullback, right? We're looking for a strong move, slight low volume pullback, and then continuation. Right? We even showed this tool that developers came up with last week. This is just great, and we'll have more to add to it here soon. Is the Bookmap checklist. Okay, what to look for in here. And identifying trap traders. This is for the flag pattern, guys, and this is for let me show you here, not only the flag pattern, but for the Bookmap Learning Center. That's where it relates to here. So let's go to bookmap.com, okay, and then go to the More button here, and then go to Learning Center here, and Strategies and Setups here. Okay, click on this. This is a new course. We have a few videos in here based on the flag pattern, and you'll need to sequentially go through them. Okay, this is just about continuation patterns in very, very high level, just in general. Then we have what the flag pattern in a diagram form, what it looks like then in Bookmap, and then how to execute it with a checklist here. Okay, this checklist here relates to this checklist here. Okay, you can even import your own and look for some very specific things. Okay, so yeah. All right. So anyway, that's the using this tool for looking for your checklist that meets your criteria. And why didn't it meet our criteria here right off the bat? Well, we have if this is our strong move in here, and it's not that strong, but we're looking for a pullback and then continuation, right? We have some trap traders down in here. We have some sellers in here that will be trapped as this pulls away. Okay, so that's not bad. And then we're looking for who's gonna take this market, right? Develop the scenarios in here. Anyway, the move here is steep here. There's not a whole lot of volume on it, and that's not so good. Then we're looking for potential measured move up into high liquidity. We don't have high liquidity up here. Okay, so that's not good either. And we can grade these along the way here. So you know, how does this trap volume look like as well? It doesn't look all that great. Okay, there's some selling in here, so maybe a 6. Steep large move. The steepness is good. Okay, the move is pretty good. Relative volume is okay, so maybe we give that like a 7. 6 or 7, somewhere around in there. It's really not that good. The measured move and high liquidity, we don't have that. Okay, so we can even give that like a 0. Minor pullback. That's what we're looking for in here in a minor pullback, and we did not have that. Okay, so this is broken at this point. Okay, so the pattern is done. Using this simple checklist and starting to look at many of them and grade them will give you insight. Do you want to put your money on something like this? Okay, this is why we put this checklist together, so that you can use this to your advantage in here. All right, so yeah, we can continue on and again. You can also import your own. We talked with at length on Friday looking at momentum moves and what was it? Impulse move. Okay, and this was for Rob. Okay, just understanding one simple thing: an impulse move. That's it. Right, and look how you can break this down into its bits and pieces in here. The idea behind it is if you can understand the impulse move, then you can start to look for minor pullbacks and then these continuation moves. So, for example, right now, okay, let's take a look at this. Well, it already did kind of a flag pattern in here, a mini one right in here. Okay, except the pullback was pretty deep as well. Okay. All right, so let's look for an impulse move to unfold here. Okay, what are we looking for? Well, let's see if we're getting some volume up here. That's good. Okay, our book on the bid is looking pretty good too. Okay, and they're pulling here on the offer. All right, so now this would be a breakout that we'd be looking for then. Okay, so it looks pretty good actually. I'm looking for our buyers finally up here at 15.5. Okay, that would be the deciding factor up here, right? And it really has to look good, and we're not getting that right now. We see 15.5 has high liquidity that just popped into the order book, and we're starting to find sellers. All right, so we'll stay away from this until we see something different. Okay, so now there's some support here at 14. Okay, again, we need to see that big green dot, and we don't want to see what we're seeing here right now. Okay, so this idea is just and until we see the large buying, you know, it's hands off here. This is low probability for an impulse move to unfold. All right, so let's see if we can get the opposite. This would be trapped volume up here, and then we'd look for potential sellers here. Exhaustion up here, this area. And we can get the sellers to hit the bid back down in the middle of the range. All right, sellers, let's see, drop it 12 and 10. Here we got a nice trap set. So just looking for sellers now to try to drop it down into 12 and then maybe lower. Okay, we have a bit of selling here. It's not a whole lot. Yeah, I don't like the sell side either. Till we see, like, this is just not quite enough in here. They had these buyers trapped, but buyers came right back in now. So now these guys are still in the game here. All these buyers here. So we have a skew with the buy side. Yeah. All right, buyers, then it's your chance here, right up to this 17 and 3/4, 18 or even 20 up here. Yeah, and high of that would be high of the cash session. All right, yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm seeing that strength here, and looking for a continuation. All right, buyers, you got it. We got the book on our side here as well. All right, well, one of the things that we're looking for in these kinds of moves in here, that's really important is it's really the crux of it here, is to lean on all of these traders, okay, that they're telling us the direction. And we thought, well, maybe we have it here with the seller and the trap. And then we saw, no, they're coming right back in, the buyers here. And then we're starting to see it pick up in here, and we're starting to break out. Okay, so we're leaning on now, not only these guys in here, these buyers in here, we're leaning on them here as well. Okay, now we see that some selling coming in right now, but can they move that market? Again, looking for buyers right up here above all of that selling right in here. Yep, here we go. Buyers, you've got these guys. You've got all of these guys in here trapped, still in control of the market. So we're going with that move to the upside. Now, again, this is not a trade recommendation. We're just reading the auction, okay? And we're looking for a direction based off of the behavior within this auction process. And Alexandra, I mean, this is where it comes down to. It is something that you need to go back and go through a process for back testing this and seeing, do you have an edge? Okay, how good is that edge? Again, like this should help here by grading this setup, okay, by looking for certain things. It'll filter for you. Like, can you lean on this? How good is it? You know, that'll really help, right? So now this is for a understanding an impulse move in here. Okay, the angle, the large price move, etc., strong relative volume. So we're looking at kind of bits and pieces of that in here. But you can make your own and import it, like I said, what exactly it is that you're looking for. And we're looking for this continuation right now to the upside. Okay, and we are leaning on the behavior in here. Okay, and also trap sellers here. Now we're looking for those guys to get squeezed right now, and then have them move up into 19 and 20. Okay, we see more sellers coming in. I'm still looking for buyers to get back up above it though. All right, let me get back to your questions here. Oh yeah, we're looking at the reaction to that large liquidity. You said 600 contracts. Yeah, during the European session, we're looking at that large liquidity all the time, and understanding the context in here. That's really the key. Is like how do traders react to that liquidity? I mean, look at this. This selling in here is going to be upended. We got more buyers back up here. It's a beautiful setup for a short squeeze. We know that they're sellers here, okay, and in here. Now the question is, do we get enough buying up here to squeeze them? That's where we look at the order book. Okay, and what do we have in the order book? Well, they're bidding up in here, but that's kind of low right here. We want to see them bid up a little bit higher. We kind of saw that earlier, them bidding up underneath in here, right? So we were looking for that move higher, and we're looking for them to bid up under here as well, and we're looking for maybe these guys to pull a bit here on the offer, and then we'd have a really nice scenario for the continuation move here, right? So suppose, for example, let's just go through a scenario. What if we have like really high liquidity? Your 600 contracts is put into the order book here at 16.25. Okay, and then what if we find sellers that want to trade into it, and they do? It's like, okay, well, we found the buyers and sellers meet here at this 16.25. However, what happens after that? We know we found some sellers, but are the sellers able to continue the move lower? If they are, that tells us something, right? We're looking for that selling now to try to move that market away from this area in here and then down to a lower level, right? So we were looking for buyers up in here, okay, because we know that they've got, you know, the control here. Now it's just the large buying in these areas in here. Okay, well, are we getting them where we want them? Up in here, starting to exhaust out. Okay, so it looks like this move, unless we find a lot of buying that comes in now at the bottom of this range in here, you know, this looks like the beginning of even a potential reversal. Okay, I'm still fighting for these buyers, and because we know that we have not come back down below these areas in here. They're still kind of moving that market. Okay, but it looks like the sellers want to test them though. Okay, so it's about the context that really matters. And it's always changing and evolving in here. Right, let's clear some of these drawings. Yeah, okay, well, let's look at the bars down here, right? Now here come our buyers. Now they're, again, we're looking to see if we need to get buyers up here for this move up into 20, 19 or 20 here. Starting to pull. It's pretty fickle. There's a little bit on the bid here. See how the bid is, you know, they're not chasing up after. Not yet, at least. So that it's all dark in here. So the liquidity's down here at 15. Well, then it's pretty easy for sellers to move it back down here. Okay, even though we're looking for the continuation move here. And that's why we want to see them bid up underneath. And the reaction to that bid is more aggressive buying. How do you recognize spoofs? Yeah, sure. How do you interpret them? Well, a spoof again is like something that like really high liquidity in the order book. It has no intention to trade whatsoever. They're basically trying to skew the auction, show really high demand or supply without even transacting, and with the goal to try to get the market to move based off of that liquidity to fulfill whatever it is they're trying to fulfill. All right, so you know, here we got a little bit of action now on the bid. Did you guys see that? And then we had buyers come in. So this could be like maybe a potential spoof as well, but it's something we can learn from though. The reaction to this liquidity was buyers. So yes, now more than ever, I'm looking for this move up into 19 and 20 here. Okay, so because we know that there's like some kind of buying pressure behind it still, right? So because of this reaction to the liquidity here. Okay, now they're not pulling here at 18, so that's not good, but we're still looking for the move higher. Okay, so that's where we can learn from this, and you can learn from the spoof as well. Okay, so you see it all the time. Okay, now sometimes the spoof is really blatant. Other times, you know, we're kind of stretching the idea. Okay, we can look at other markets as well and see if we can see a good example of a spoof. The spoofing is illegal. There's, you know, we've seen it for years now how some of it may transact, and then it's kind of begs the question, is it a spoof? So now here's our high liquidity again, and the reaction is buyers and they're pulling here. Okay, so I'm looking for the buyers to step up and break out into 19. Okay, now is this a really high probability of working out here? I wouldn't say it is. I'm just looking for this direction. Right now we just got our move here, and we get just shy of 19 here, and we're right back down. Okay, still looking for the continuation though. The buyers are still moving this market. All right, so again, like this is not a trading room. We are going to read the order flow though and look for the potential moves here. Okay, we also know this is a stop run in here, okay, which makes good sense. Okay, another stop run, beautiful move. Almost to 20 now, 19 transacted. Okay. Let's take a step back. Now, this is high of the day here for the cash session. All right, so let's take a look at our bigger picture here if we're going to see a continuation or not. All right, this is, I mean, everything has to shift and change here. Look at the move on up here. As we've seen during this webinar, it's been kind of muted. It hasn't been these big quick moves, right? It's been, you know, there's kind of one in here, but then a lot of back and forth, potential reversal as well. But we still know that there's still the buyers in here. Okay, so they're still moving it, and then looking for another potential trap. and then buyers to come in, right? So now this is played out pretty nicely, right? So anyway, we have now fuel here with the sellers in here for this kind of more exponential move here. This is where we really need to see the buyers come in and pick it up, okay? Because now they've got it here, and the sellers step aside, and let's get a gap fill back up into our 30 level here, okay? Probably the next stop is probably around here, maybe structurally like around 24 or so, right? So here, this is an impulse move, okay? Much better, much stronger. There's some pullbacks in here, true, but you can see that there's mostly buying in here. Now sellers just coming in right now. Okay, we have ignition algo in here. Yeah, so this would be this. See this algo in here as a spoof. Ignition is also a prohibitive practice, illegal practice. Something in here skewing the bid to maybe try to push or dissuade sellers and show a skew to push price up into high liquidity up on the offer. Okay, this is pretty typical. And this is a good example, pretty decent example. I mean, we've seen much better, but you can see this is looks like the goal of that algo. Now, what's the difference here? Well, see, not one transaction has taken place here. Maybe it's legal here, like they start to transact in here a bit, right? So Rich, this is what we're talking about in terms of spoofing and identifying that. Now, but how can it help us though? That's what we really want to understand, right? Seeing these kinds of things in Bookmap is great, and interesting stuff, but how can we have this help us? Okay, so the skew in the auction in here, well, price went up into this high liquidity, and then we see that it starts to transact into this level here, okay? And then sellers here are able to take it down. Okay, they trade into this liquidity here and through it. Okay, so yeah, I would look for the next stopping area down here at 18, to be honest. Yeah, we're already through it. All right, so you can really get into the details in here, and you can see that this algo in here pushing price up. Now, why do I think it's ignition algo? Because I really don't see them getting filled, unless maybe he's staying in the book here and wishes to get filled. Okay, but why wouldn't he go one more and try to get filled in this tick here if he's really that desperate to get filled? All right, so I'm not sure. To me, it looks like it's trying to push price back up. Okay, now if it is the same algo and then they get filled in here, well, then it's not a spoof. And it's not ignition algo. Okay, buyers still remain in control though, even with all this selling coming in. In the time frame we're looking at from back in here, they still remain in control. Okay, they're still buying, and on a very short term area in here, you can see the selling. Okay, that pretty strong selling that moved that market. Okay, so in the shorter term and this very small time frame, sellers are in control in this area here. They will be out of control if we can get back up above here with buyers up here. Okay, and then we would look for another stop run to the upside. All right, well, let's go through our checklist in here and understand the strength of this move in here, because it's pretty good, right? We noted that now we have the potential for this continuation move, right? We really need to see those buyers in here, and we see it in here, but we also see this back and forth in here. The sellers come in, the sellers come in again in here. Okay, so that makes it a lot more convoluted. We don't want to see that. We're not looking for that. We're looking for the sellers to step aside. Okay, here's another potential spoof right underneath, right here. Okay, now it's not a spoof, they just transacted. Okay, so it looks like they want to buy here at 20 and a half, and the reaction has been buyers. Okay, they're pulling up here. All right, buyers then move the market to 23, and what we said 24 is another area. It looks like 25 is a bit better. Can you tell if there's trap buyers at local top of 21? Well, yeah, I mean, it could change into that. I mean, we just know that the buyers are still driving the market here. And the sellers on this small time frame were in control. But we also noted I mean, we're not making this stuff up. Here's the evidence right in front of us. Large sell dot over here, big red dot. Okay, so right there, and then they move the market lower. Okay, well, they don't go below swings in here or anything like that. We don't see too many stop runs in here. In fact, it's the opposite. We see a large iceberg get filled here, and then up here. Right, this is where we get our answer in here. Is we're looking, we mentioned it, right? We're looking for, they will be out of control when we get buyers back up here. Okay, so what happened? Well, we got some buyers up in here, and then we had high liquidity come in here. The reaction to that was buyers, so we're still looking for it to go higher. Right, so this is our evidence in here, this high liquidity. Okay, now this becomes a kind of a critical area based on the order flow right here at this 20 and a half. Okay, so you can see sellers just came in and kind of dumped it down into here. Now we're looking to see if they can continue to take it lower. Okay, then at that point, anyone who bought up here might be out of control. Okay, but you can see the buyer's still holding this here. Okay, now look what's happening. Someone didn't like that idea. Okay, sellers came in and dumped, they dumped again. Okay, this is changing our momentum. You know, we've seen it so many times, and it's exactly this behavior in here. Okay, so maybe we come up another time and we look for these sellers to come back in. Yeah, those are big book sweeps. I agree. And do we see a stop run there though? Alessandro, see how we can get into the details here. That's why we know that, yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a stop run here. It's not a whole lot. We can see it. And what about here, the next one? Yeah, it's not much at all, right? So therefore, this must be a larger seller coming in. Either maybe they're exiting, or maybe they're in dumping, or maybe they are entering. We don't know that, but we do know that it's not a stop run, and this one's not much of a stop run either. So we're looking for that behavior to potentially repeat again. Yeah. So anyway, the and we do see it again right in here. Okay. Now see how this has changed everything. Okay, now we're down to 20.5. Now this seller can show up again and change the direction here. Sweep it into 19 and maybe even 18 down here, or 17.5. Anyway, guys, these are the kind of details we can look for to support our ideas. And that is very difficult to see here on a candlestick chart. Well, it's clearly not there. Okay, a lot of selling coming in. You know, they've got their work cut out though. I mean, you still have the buying that moved this market, right? But this is a lot of selling now. Okay, and it started right here with this behavior. 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and now we're seeing a bit of a drop here. Yeah, some of the icebergs did buy in here. That's true. Not on the drop though. Hey, they were buying in on this little pullback area in here. Let's see, a few days ago you saw CVD at -45. Well, God, it was Options Millionaire. We had a bit of a conversation, or he said, "Did you see all that selling on what, it was a big selling day?" And I go, "Yeah. What do you make of it?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. CVD was dropping like a rock, but on the other side, it just crisscrossed right over the icebergs. Tons of icebergs buying." Alessandro, one of the things in here, like, yeah, like we're going to read the order flow regardless in the webinar. And like I said, the more examples we can go through, the better to understand what might be happening. So we will go through these other areas in here and look for it. But you know, when it becomes like a kind of higher probability outcome, or you know, the things align, then we're really looking for it to go. Right. Again, it's not a trading room in here. It's not a trade recommendation or shadow room whatsoever. It's about order flow. Okay. Once you can start to understand, for example, at a much better rate, something about like a continuation pattern, momentum move, whatever, and you can see that in the order flow, now you've got something. And you can start to look at it as a trading plan. And put the pieces together, and that's why we're here. Okay? So that you can understand order flow at all sorts of different time frames, and then go through scenarios where you think this move might unfold. Right? So you might want to go to Learning Center and go through some of the videos for this flag continuation pattern in here. Again, it doesn't matter that it's a flag pattern. What matters is the order flow. So here again is that behavior, that larger player. They noted how we got back up above here. Then look at this buying up in here. And this is where we can see the shift, a potential shift. Because we do have buyers up here, and they did make a higher high. But this seller is still selling. All right, so now when we've come right back down here again, so here we go back up into that selling, a pull back. Okay, and looking for sellers again right here at 20. And let's see if we can get a quick move down into like 19 and try to break through 19, back down to maybe like 17.5 here. Am I still muted? No, I shouldn't be muted. Audio is good over here. Thanks, slow down. Yeah. You're curious about seeing days like this. Well, you can see that the choppiness, Stephen, it's in here in the order flow. Like it's like, yeah, we're still leaning on that buy side, but we're getting deep pullbacks. We're seeing sellers. We're seeing this one player in particular is what it looks like or appears, selling hard up at these areas. Okay, so due to that, like, yeah, we have the potential to also reverse and come back down and sellers take control. But you can see that it's just been choppy on the way up. Okay, when we look at days like, well, a couple of weeks ago here, we had the fundamental news, or on last Friday, we're looking for it to go higher. I mean, it was just, the buyers coming in. So we're looking for that move to unfold. Here, we're still leaning on the buyer's side a bit, but with not a whole lot of conviction. Okay, so, and it's played out in that manner. Okay, now we can get a lot of clues from not just order flow but also the market structure. So for example, we can look at price channels, okay, that talk about your auction process in here. Okay, see how it's starting to break now. Okay, that this channel here means that basically, like, there's higher liquidity up in the areas up in here, and not enough buyers and sellers come back in and trade it back into the mean. We can see that a lot of times, look at the order flow shift and change in here. Okay, even in this diagonal move. Okay, can you see it? And look at right up here. Now some buyers, but we didn't get back up, and we didn't get to the top of the channel here. And we just made a slightly higher high, and then sellers came in. Okay, so you can kind of see the shift in this change in the trend. Now look at the trend. Okay, let's take the heat map off for just a minute and just look at volume and price structure. Okay, we're leaning on the buyers. We saw a potential trap in here, the squeeze, and then we see the move back down, but sellers can't. We're looking for buyers to get back up above and squeeze again, and they can't seem to move back down below where these buyers still remain kind of in control. Okay, but it's back and forth in here. But look at the shift and change now. You can see it. Okay. So yeah, buyers here and in here, like we said, and in here, and in here, right? But now look at the sellers in here. In here, 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 and also now here. Okay, it's shifting over, right? So look for these things. Now we need to understand, this is really important. You need to understand the other side of the trade. And that's where the heat map is really helpful. Like right here. Okay, got more sellers in here, but they trade right into high liquidity. Okay, it's a springboard for the buyers to come back in. And I hate to use that slow down springboard because this is your trade. Anyway, it's a springboard here for the buyers to come in and try to move it back up because this is where there's demand. Sellers hit them, and we're getting buyers back up in here again. All right, so it's this context between the high liquidity and the aggressors we want to understand. All right, so we're seeing that shift in here. Okay, yet look at the buyers come back again. Okay, and now that shift is also looking like a potential, like a breakout now to the upside. Now I don't like it because I see high liquidity here at 23 and a quarter. Okay, I do not see the book really bidding up. I mean, I do see some here. Okay, but it's not really what we want to see. And look again, that seller is still back at it. Okay, relentless. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time. Or there's even other areas I believe we saw it. Okay, still sweeping the book. Yeah, it is. The seller is still engaging, still just a little bit higher. You're right, M. But the they're still in here now. A lot of times we've seen that maybe that seller just kind of gives up, or is finished selling. Maybe there was an exit, or maybe they get trapped. But they keep sweeping that book, and so that's true. Even though it's still kind of going against them, going a little bit higher, and then they're sweeping it again. So it depends. I mean, we've seen both. We've seen that this larger player actually continues to do this, and it starts to influence a lot of the other buyers and sellers. So more sellers start to enter and go along with that. Other times we've seen them kind of stop, and then we get like our our squeeze, the buying back up above here. I'm actually looking now for the higher time frame, like I would love to see more continuation here. These are small little candles in here. We were looking for that potential extension. Not really seeing it. All right. Well, we see some buying up here, relative volume here, but still really high liquidity here. Large lot tracker showing showing us that it's likely around 450 or so contracts as one individual actor. Okay, well, the buyers took them on. Okay, now let's get our context in here. So they just traded into this high liquidity in here. Do we still see buying pressure above it? Okay, not really, not yet. Okay, so now do we get our sellers on the other side here? I'm looking for sellers here around 2250, and then the potential move right back down into the small swing here, but also 19 looks pretty good. Yeah, that's not happening, not yet. All right, so anyway, there's something else I wanted to cover with the Market Pulse add-ons that we're just releasing. They're in beta right now. So I think you guys, well, anyone who's part of the Bookmap Academy gets them for free. Just go to bookmap.com. We have a new link in here actually put together. So you can click on the More button and then go to right here under Community Bookmap Academy. Click on that, and that'll take you to the new Academy. Well, the Academy page, we updated a little bit in here. And read about it. You can sign up, and you can get one of the benefits that you get is access to pre-released add-ons, like Market Pulse. All right, so anyway, let's turn this on in here. I want to show you not just Market Pulse, but I want to show you the absorption indicator. All right, I'm going to use automatic mode in here. Now, you need to download and install the new absorption indicator as well that works with Market Pulse. Okay, so you will need that link. You can inquire about it in the Academy applicants Discord room. All right, so anyway, I've got an automatic mode, so 167 contracts in here or more, then show me the absorption of that. That's based off of the standard deviation of 30 minutes with a multiplier of 10. Now you can see it here in some of those cases where it's true, right? 177, 239, 184. Now all on the bid so far, which is pretty interesting. Wow, look at that. There's our larger player yet again. Okay. All right, so now let's add Market Pulse in here. We're going to try to look for an edge. Okay, absorption pressure. Let's go with absorption pressure imbalance. And let's click play. All right, and then we'll get rid of stops and icebergs in here. And CVD. All right. Okay, well, look at these little areas in here. Now, this is, we can look at the Market Pulse. This is weird. It's giving us a reading here, a subchart, but it's saying not enough data. That's odd. Oh, it's loading. Okay. Okay. Still not enough data. Interesting. All right. Why not? All right, hold on a minute. This is how that broadcast API works within Bookmap. We can look at the absorption indicator first to make the filtering. Data, I don't understand it. There should be plenty. We're getting an output down here. All right, well, let's just take this automatic mode down a bit. And we should get more data here. So it's down to 99 right now. Still says not enough data. Interesting. So let's close this one. We'll open up absorption pressure. Try that one. Oh, okay. I understand. All right, so we're not getting enough data in here, meaning like right now from it. So it's retraced back to 0 here. That's what that means. Okay, but that's why we're getting the output here in the subchart. Now this is great though. Like the subchart here can be used to kind of very quickly backtest this absorption indicator here in Market Pulse, and this is how you can use this. So we know that there was a lot of absorption on the bid in this area in here, which means that very, very quickly, okay, absorption indicator is going to show us where a lot transacted very, very quickly and failed to go a price lower here. Now, I don't think this is actually a good reading in here. I think I've got too much data in here. So let's actually pull that back again in here on the absorption indicator. Yeah, let's try that. All right. Okay, so now start to line these things up. Do we see at the swing here, good absorption? Yeah, we do actually here and here. And we're getting kind of an output. You can see that the spikes here in the absorption indicator. Now it went into the green area here, which is a 70% threshold here, just shy of it. And then in here, we got it on the sell side on the way down. So yeah, this is we showed how to use this tool in the back testing with the volume pressure add-on. Okay, here we're looking at the absorption and looking at very specific areas here. Okay, where a lot traded, but would very, very quickly a lot traded, but it failed to go another price move lower. Okay, so therefore it must have been absorbed. Yep. So we can see the absorption in here on the offer. Makes sense. This is also probably going to be a bit of an iceberg in here. Take a look at that. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right, this is interesting. So a lot of absorption here on that sell side at the bottom here. Okay. So this seller in here, these guys are trying pretty hard to kind of reverse this. but there's still just more buyers kind of keep trickling in here. All right, so how can you use this tool? Well, this is one of the ways that you can use this tool here is to understand that after this book sweep here, that they're on the offer, absorbing that buying pressure. Okay, price wasn't able to move a tick higher here. Okay, so very, very big transactions into an iceberg here. Here we go. Here now it's starting to ping here. Okay, so we're getting another reading up in here. Well, makes sense. We see high liquidity there. Just got the transaction into that high liquidity. All right, so now let's start to look here. We've got high liquidity up in here. Do we see more buying pressure? We've got our absorption indicator here and here. So the scenario would be that we would look for the selling here. And for that selling to drop it lower. All right, so we're not seeing it. We're still seeing that buying pressure back up above it. Now we might get the squeeze, okay, because we know the selling took place here. There's no question about that. Okay, and it just took place again up here. Okay, we didn't get a absorption indicator telling us much, but hold on a minute. All right, so let's take a look now. We went up here again, right? Traded into this high liquidity here, and we're looking for a scenario. If we're looking for the sellers to come back in again, we got to get right down to here, and we've got to see those big selling dots. It's as simple as that. If the opposite starts to unfold in here, well, then these buyers can sweep that higher up into higher liquidity up in here. Okay, maybe we see that larger seller finally just capitulates and ends. He's finished. I don't think so. I don't see him yet. I'm looking for him, and I'm looking for that book sweep lower. Okay, so this is where we need to see them, though. They have to be below here, okay, at 25. Okay, now we're looking for exhaustion up here, maybe on the buy side. We're looking for, we can even look for the seller in here to try to reach 25. Okay, so if we do see something in here, in this little range in here, we can also look for it just down to 25, and that's an edge in there. So you've got a 1.5 under your belt before looking for the bigger move. Okay, and it's just simply not showing up. Still getting buyers at higher levels here. Anyway, it's these extreme levels that we're reading in here to develop scenarios. Okay? And you can very quickly backtest some of these ideas in here. Okay? Am I getting a good reading? Okay, is there something I can do with this information here? Yeah, I'm looking for a real nice squeeze actually to the upside here. It's just the buying just keeps coming in. Oh yeah, squeeze them hard now. Let's see it. Let's see the move up into 30. Where are we here? Yeah, we are starting to pick up momentum a bit. So our gap fill would be up here around 31. Okay. We don't see much up here at 31, but 28 and 28 and a half and 30. All right, let's see if we can get that quick move here. I'm going to turn off absorption for now. All right, guys. Well, anyway, been kind of a grinding day up here. Noticing that larger seller behavior in here that continued to sell and sell and sell, and then basically as looks like they've just kind of given up. And now we're just looking for that sweep higher up into our 30 level here. Yeah, sometimes we've seen this behavior turn the market around. Other times, like they get upside down and feel the pressure. Now, I don't think that's them. This larger player behavior in here might be, but I don't think so. I think that's just probably some profit taking. Anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up here. We went through the absorption indicator and algo in market pulse, and trying to understand how to back test that and get some insight, like we were with also the support and resistance and the volume pressure algos in market pulse. Again, you can get free access to that from the academy. You have to be part of the academy, and we're happy to give that out to you to play around with. So slow down looks like yeah, that was your setup that we kind of mentioned. Looks like you grabbed it, your spring, Wyckoff spring there. Yeah, dip below, and then buyers coming in. All right, I'm still looking for that squeeze here. We got here's the fuel right here, right? See the selling in here, and could be some profit taking, but now we're just looking for this. After this selling, and we're looking for a big stop run down here. All right, guys, end of the European session here, our London session just closing as well. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks for coming, everybody, and we will continue on tomorrow. And hopefully we'll have more than just a grinding higher move like this here. Something more to take a look at. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Take care.